Hey everybody, welcome back. We are doing a movie reaction. I've got Purdy right here. She's slowly laying down. She's trying to make sure I don't move again. And we are going to watch the movie The New Mutants. This was one I had planned on watching in the theaters, but yeah, COVID happened. I was like, when was it supposed to release? 2020. I also know that there were some problems releasing it. The review or whatever it is, the pre-release viewing did not go well. And I know that they did a lot of reshooting. And I know that this film is more of a horror type of feel to it. I did like the trailers, so I'm curious as to what the movie will be like. The mutants are in the X-Men world, for those who don't know that. And these are supposed to be the new mutants. So these are supposed to be some of the more newer X-Men characters. I think of the action figures, the only new mutant I had, maybe not, I'll have to see who all is in the movie. But I think Magic was the only new one. I had Starfire or Firestar. I can't keep them straight. One of them's Marvel, one of them's DC. Uh, but on her card it says Teen X-Men or Teen Mutant or something like that. So I don't know if she's necessarily considered a new mutant, but she could be. But I'll share some of the pictures I have or had of the action figures if they mention any of the characters in this movie, and we can kind of go from there. I'm hurting a bit. I was doing some painting, plus I've been working in the kitchen. I'm trying to finish it up. I've run out of shelf lining again, so I've got more ordered again, but I won't get it till later this week. And other than that, it's just running the dishwasher repeatedly because I've got to get I'm still getting construction dust off of everything. And I'm also, as I'm cleaning and going through everything, I'm also putting a pile of stuff over to the side of these boxes. You can't see what I'm pointing at, but cups and containers, and I actually have three lunch bags. So I still have one, two, three soft lunch bags and then a hard cooler as well. So I had a total of seven. It was time to get rid of some. I still have one more cabinet to go through everything in it. And then I have my china cabinet to go through because there's stuff in the bottom of the china cabinet. And once I've gotten through all of that, then I'll know what's good for donating and we can go from there. Hi, Jojo. Hi. Yeah. Are you talking to everybody? Tell them I just want to look pretty. Purdy hasn't laid down yet. Maybe she knows I still have to push play and everything. So let's go ahead and get to the movie. I'm not holding my breath, but I hope it's at least decent and kind of go from there. I do like horror type movies, so I might like it better than the average person as well. We'll have to see. All right.
There's an old Native American proverb that says, "Inside every person there are two bears, forever locked in combat for your soul."
I'll pause it right there. You know, they mentioned that with the Native American, but if you look at any religion, a lot of religions parallel each other to a certain extent. They'll have similarities. The Golden Rule is a perfect example of that. And so the two bears wrestling within your soul kind of thing, you'll see that in many different religions as well. Okay, his groaning's a little weird. Is he changing? That's the only thing I can picture for the groaning. The way he's groaning. It's almost like the nothing from the never-ending story. Was it? I think it's the second one I'm thinking of. Not the nothing, but the emptiness. Those are old beds. There's not much below them.
Hello?
If you've got somebody chained up, you should have eyes on them at all times. How is she able to do all of this and nobody see her?
Because you're a very uncommon girl. Your
She looks
reputation
similar
has wiped off the
to
face of the earth.
the young girl in
You
Logan.
made it out with barely a scratch. This is a facility for young mutants like yourself. Teens who need some extra care before they can go on to live healthy adult lives.
So she's obviously talking about the professor being the one that can locate them. And the other patients might be where they heal before they go to the school.
He asked me to show him, so I changed.
And what did Reverend Craig do?
Is she supposed to be Irish?
Ileana, since you're already up, why don't you show Danny around?
Well, why do I have to?
So Ileana is supposed to be Russian or Ukrainian. That's Dr. Reyes, isn't it? And they're trying to provoke her to see what her powers are, since they don't know yet.
Stay here!
You're the sole survivor.
Watch her be the one that killed her whole community. By accident, of course. She's gonna try to jump. Betcha that's Dr. Reyes. And watch her be able to fly. I was gonna say the grass part might not kill her. Concrete might.
What are you doing out here? She likes me. I'm one of the good ones. Me and Sam.
She's got some thick eyebrows.
Why is she always watching us?
For her own good. She means well. She's trying to
She's
help
lying.
Right? Thank you for helping me.
Did she ask her what her power is?
This studio is really trimming down the wardrobe.
Hey, every time
Little bit
your
of
shirt gets
Patsy
dirty,
Cline
you just
or Loretta
throw it
Lynn.
away.
I was gonna say she was asleep when the village was attacked. I always hated the communal showers. A little confused on why he started beating himself up.
I have one arm.
Buffy! It's the heartbreaking episode.
You know the rules. No powers in here.
That's an awesome power to have.
Maybe Danny was invincible.
Can she teleport? There's gravestones.
And I was up in the vents again. Hello?
So she's attracted to Danny.
How many girls you been with?
Like I can even remember.
That's a lie.
He's lying.
Can't have it over the jean jacket like that.
I'm the most powerful mutant here.
So I think with that
But I know you
claim
can't
of being the strongest mutant there, I think they're going to show
What
that
if we don't want to move
Danny's actually the strongest.
I wouldn't mind being an X-Man. And why would they need a dog?
Is she the dog? I guess hence the bushy eyebrows.
This is the only way out, though. I'm always paranoid Reyes is gonna find it.
Yeah, she's gonna find out a lot tomorrow.
So they were
Lay
gravestones.
down. What? You have to turn off the lights?
Sure.
Why did she want him to turn off the lights? They've had a really fast connection, and I don't believe the connection.
So nice to me.
Need a second to cool down.
Isn't this what you want?
I saw the steam coming up off of him.
Billy?
Illy's in solitary still? It's got similar movements to Illy's Smiling
What is
Man.
it? Damn. What happened here?
Who
Give me
can
my
cause
phone back.
hallucinations?
I am.
Is Danny causing the hallucinations? The Smiling Man?
Can you control it?
Nobody can.
Danny's powers is bringing people's fears to life. She didn't even have her hand on her thumb on the plunger. Crayons rocking is cool.
We in Lockheed.
I think she is supposed to be Magic because Magic has Lockheed as a dragon. Essex Corporation.
Hallway H.
Will she kill her? Back to Buffy. Another great episode of it. Did Joss Whedon direct this one? If he did, I'm a little shocked because he's usually good at creating
It's just
connections. See, the Smiling Man moves really funny. Well, that's why it would move funny. Let's see the shadow coming up behind him. There we go. So he's kind of a fire starter.
That was so hot.
That's probably the best line in the whole movie so far.
The windows. Everything.
Ray's fear
How are
is
you gonna
them
get
getting
past that?
out. So if she manifests Ray's fear of them getting out, then they can get out.
breathe.
He's got his hand through. Can he not push it the rest of the way through? Is it the nothing?
What are you doing, Danny?
Brings the snow with it. That's the bear. I like the effect of her arm and sword. They did a good job with that. And I was talking through that part. See what she said. I think she called her magic.
He's right, it's magic.
So am I.
Hey, Yogi!
There's Lockheed, her dragon.
Kid.
Kind of looks a little bit like Spiro, doesn't it? Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
Holy shit!
I'm gonna marry that girl.
You okay, Lockheed? Give it to me. Hide. Demons can come in
It's a lot of weight for her to carry. It killed the doctor a lot faster. It knew where they were there in the confession and still wasn't able to break down the confession and eat them. Trying to take her back to Limbo. I know I don't have any of the boys as action figures.
No. I'm in
Taming
charge.
the Wild Beast. Shining the light on the darkness. I liked the red eyes there. Some parts of when they were showing the red eye steaming and everything, didn't really care for some of the animation of it. But right there was pretty cool. It's a big hole in the church.
She could be lying.
Let's go find out.
Find out?
Josh Boone. Okay, so that was the New Mutants. I wasn't that impressed with it. I I appreciate the concept. I enjoy the concept. I know what they were going for could have been cool as far as having an X-Men movie, but it be horror based instead. No, baby. Um, Finding out these powers and not understanding the powers until they've happened and then trying to figure out how to control them. That is a horror movie. I just didn't like how they executed it. I think it could have been done a lot better. I I didn't feel any connection to any of the characters or anything like that. So I'm going to talk about it first about how I felt, and then I'm going to look some things up. So they showed two scenes from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So if you have not seen that, this will be spoilers. But that's how I was like, did Josh Whedon direct this? It doesn't feel like a Josh Whedon film. And no, he didn't. But they were trying to foreshadow some things. So the very first Buffy the Vampire Slayer scene that they showed was the kiss between Tara and Willow. And that was to foreshadow the kiss between Danny and I've gone blank on her name. Dog girl. I can't think of what her name was. At any rate, it was foreshadowing that. And then the second episode that they showed of Buffy, and that particular scene that they showed, the kiss, was in the episode The Body. So a very intense, heavy episode to watch. And then the next episode that they watched was, or showed, was also a very heavy, intense episode. It was from The Hush, and it was foreshadowing the Smiling Men. And I commented about how they were moving funny the first time we saw them in Illy's flashback. But in the episode Hush, you have the gentlemen. And so the gentlemen were foreshadowing the Smiling Men. So it's supposed to be kind of that. The effects of the Smiling Men, it was just too janky. Is janky a word? I felt the movements mimicked, what was it in Conjuring 2? You had the stick man or the umbrella man. I think it's the umbrella man. But you guys can probably figure out what I'm trying to think of. The movements reminded me of that, and the facial features, it looked like they were trying to mimic the gentleman a little bit. It just didn't work. So those were the two foreshadowings that we saw from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It was really hard to gain any connection to any of them. Danny's probably the one you get the most connection to, but even then it was hard to build that connection just because the opening scene with her father, his grunting and groaning was really weird to me. The pattern and the way that he was doing it, just it was almost like he was changing, not running from something. I don't know how else to explain that. The demon bear, he was okay. I think they could have made him a little more realistic and it would have been a little more scary. Less of the smoke from the eyes. You could have kept him red and glowing, but less smoke and more realistic fur and that sort of thing. And movements more realistic of the bear. They kind of had the movements, but it didn't feel like the movements of a bear to me overall. Dr. Reyes, her character was built to be cold, so it's kind of hard to rate her. It's hard to understand the context of, okay, you have this doctor that's supposedly taking care of these kids and trying to teach them how to control their powers and that sort of thing because they've been deemed monsters and killers and a danger to society. But if the whole point of keeping them alive is to learn to control the powers, then she must have some innate feelings or emotions about them being able to be saved, I guess would be the best way to say it. It's not a good way to frame it, but that's the best thing that I can think of. But for her to agree to kill Danny just because she's the most powerful mutant they've ever seen and she manifests fears doesn't mean that she can't control it. So for her to automatically give up based on what a computer reading gave her rather than challenging it, that fell flat for me. Why work so hard with these individuals at trying to teach them control and teach them to be better if the whole point is they can never go free? It also gave me, the whole thing kind of gave me Girl Interrupted vibes. I loved Girl Interrupted. Thought it was a great movie. You had a lot of connection to the characters, the acting was great, all that kind of stuff. So there was a hint of that in this, but I didn't feel it. I didn't feel the connection and that the characters owned themselves. So Roberto was supposedly from Brazil, but he had absolutely no accent, and I expected at least a hint of accent. But that being said, I think Ilyana was supposed to be from the Czech or Ukraine or Russia or Belarus or, something like that. But I didn't believe her accent, and I didn't believe the other girl's accent. I think she was supposed to be from Ireland, and I didn't quite feel that the accent was authentic. Now, that being said, I'm going to check on them. The other boy, the flashy one from Kentucky, I can't think of his name, but he had a deep southern drawl. Could have been real. Those are just really hard to judge because they sound so fake, even from the real people. So I will put it that way. I've been around folks that talk that way, so I don't know if that's his actual accent or if he was putting on an accent. I think that's it on that commentary. Let's look up some stuff. Blue Hunt, is she actually indigenous? Oh, she was in the originals? Oh, okay. She played the Hollow. I didn't recognize her from it. It doesn't say if she is indigenous. She does kind of look it. Ilyana. Ilyana Rasputin. So they're not giving them their character names, their mutant names, which she obviously, after all the clues were given, she's magic. And I have shown or am showing, I don't know, the action figure of that one. Oh, she was in Split. I don't remember Casey in Split. She was born in Florida. I'm not seeing anything right away about. Father was born in Argentina of English and Scottish descent, and her mother was born in Zambia, Africa, to an English diplomat father and a Spanish mother from Barcelona. There's not any reason to believe the accent that we heard. Where's the other one? Massey. Oh, Marilyn Manson played the Smiling Man. Oh, he voiced the Smiling Man. Okay. Massey Williams. English actress. Is that England or is that? Yeah, she was born in England. So maybe it was an English accent, but for some reason it felt like they were trying to make her Irish. Especially because with Catholicism, you think Irish when you're thinking about that part of the world, but that could be stereotypes. And Charlie Heaton, I know that name. He's in Stranger Things, isn't he? Yeah. So that's not his natural accent either. He was born in England. Usually Southern accents are pretty easy for England speaking English speakers. But he was going for that real heavy Kentuckian Southern drawl. And like I said, sometimes the real accent sounds fake. So I'm not going to knock his accent at all. But the other two definitely was not feeling it. Alice Braga is the one who played Dr. Reyes, and she's Brazilian, so you could hear that in her accent. What else has she been in? Because she looked familiar. I Am Legend. I've seen that. I liked it. Elysium, I wanted to watch. Never did get to see it. She's in The Suicide Squad. I might know her from that as well. Not that I've seen it yet, but from the trailers. Because I think she plays the one that says, why would they put penises on the beach or something like that? Where are the trivias? All right, so The New Mutants was originally supposed to be a trilogy, with the second film to be an alien invasion movie featuring the alien mutant Warlock. Although I know they're talking about bringing Warlock to Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know if it's a done deal or not, but they've been hinting at it. Or no, that's Adam. Adam Warlock, yeah. And then the third and final installment to be a supernatural apocalyptic horror movie based on the X-Men comic Inferno. Demons invade the earth and magic plays a major role. So one of the things was that that the director Josh Boone admitted he found shooting to be stressful because he had to tone down the horror elements that he wanted to do, and that might be also why I just wasn't feeling it. If maybe he was able to do his original concept and give it a rating, what is this, PG-13? Give it an R rating instead, maybe it would have been a lot better rather than parsing the concept. Cannonball, Mirage, Sunspot, and Wolfsbane were the new mutants that were featured, with Magic being a member from the second roster of the new mutants. So I don't have any of those. Wolfsbane must be what Dog Girl actually is. Sunspot would be Ricardo. Cannonball must be Kentucky Boy, and then Mirage is Danny. It was initially reported that Fox planned to have the film heavily reshot based on feedback from test screenings. Test screenings was the word I was trying to think of to make it scarier. The reshoots were repeatedly pushed back until ultimately being canceled in March 2020 after Disney acquired Fox. The reported reasons for the cancellation differ. Some trade publications reported the film was deemed satisfactory by Disney, while others and director Josh Boone claimed the cast had visibly aged after 2 years and reshoots were no longer feasible. Okay, so that was not reshot. I thought it had been, but I understand why Fox wanted the reshoots done. Disney should have listened. In the comics, the New Mutants faced off with a mutant supremacy group known as the Right, who wore smiley face masks. Okay, so I didn't know this. Ileana carries a dragon toy, which we saw, and this is homage to Lockheed, a pet. Well, and they did more than homage. Lockheed was part of the film, a pet dragon owned by the X-Men. In the comics, he is owned by Kitty Pryde, or also known as Shadowcat. And here is my Kitty Pryde that I used to have. She sold. In this film, he is owned by Magic. So the filmmakers cite the films One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, The Shining, The Breakfast Club, and Nightmare on Elm Street: Dream Warriors as an influence on the film's production design, due to the closed-in settings each film used for dramatic purposes. And actually, I'll have to check. I might have had Sunspot. He might have been in my collection with a collection of 6 X-Men figures. If I did have it, I'll have posted it. Blue Hunt is Native American and Henry Zaga is Brazilian, just like their respective characters. However, English actors Charlie Heaton and Massey Williams play the American Sam Guthrie and the Scottish is what she was supposed to be, Rain Sinclair, and the Argentinian English American actress Anna Taylor Joy plays the Russian Ilyana Rasputin. Okay, I had mentioned some feels to Logan. The vision Danny sees of mutant children contains some reused footage from Logan. Danny and Rain are portrayed as same-sex couple. In the comics, due to their powers, they share a telepathic link, but both characters are straight. In the comics, the character Karma is gay, but she is cut from the movie. The film's working title is Growing Pains, possibly renamed or possibly named after the 1980 sitcom Growing Pains. Wolf was considered for the role of Campbell. In two different scenes, the teens are watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The first clip is from The Body, the second clip is from Hush, which we already talked about. And so that was another thing. We were led to believe that her superior was Professor X and that they were connected to the X-Men and that sort of thing. But then they revealed, sorry, keeps trying to pop out. Then they revealed the Essex Corporation, and I was like, Essex Corporation, who is that? Because I'm not a deep dive comic fan. I just know some of the action figures and some of the characters that way. So I didn't understand the Essex Corporation connection, but apparently that is run by Mr. Sinister, and that's what her lapel pin that she lost was signifying was the Essex Corporation and Mr. Sinister connection and all that. And I don't know a lot about Mr. Sinister, so okay. I think that's about it. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.